There are sounds sometimes in response to a conversation we're having about the building, enough that I'm convinced. The Fischer Theatre, well, it was actually built in 1884 as the Grand Opera House. And it became the Fischer Theatre in 1912 when Mr. Fischer bought it and did a huge renovation to the theater. Pushed out the front, built a tall fly, added the balconies and the box seats. In the early days it was vaudeville. It was, you know, the traveling acts. Lillian Russell performed on this stage. It did later become a movie theater owned by the Carasotes Movie Company, as did the Palace Theater that was next door to the Fischer. At one time there were 6 theaters in Danville, and the Fischer is the only remaining theater. It's in the heart of the downtown, and we feel it can be really a viable contribution to the downtown. It's a wonderful historic building that should be maintained. We often tear our historic buildings down instead of maintaining them, and there's a large group of people that have stuck with this building and kept it going and are determined that it will be viable again.
And that's why they hold fundraisers to get money to restore the theater.
Years ago, we had a concert in the theater and did a live webcast of the concert. In preparation for that, some recording equipment was accidentally left on overnight. And in reviewing what was on that digital media, there were some interesting sounds on there that we ended up posting to our website, and that caught the attention of a group in Springfield that wanted to come and kind of investigate those, and it has just grown from there. Most of it was what you would expect. I mean, you heard cars driving by, you heard screechings and things like that. I think a police car went by at one point. But there were some things that were interesting that were maybe chains dragging, or just sounds that couldn't be explained readily. And people wanted to come and try to figure out what made those.
Things that you hear, things that you have seen, and my big interest in it is actually to prove it through some type of equipment that will pick up activity and aid in the proof that there possibly is something out there.
Tom Gerler has been a paranormal investigator for almost 8 years.
Actually, I had my first experience in the theater this last visit. We were in here last Friday night, and the under the stage area is the dressing rooms, where in previous investigations we were with a psychic medium who had an impression of someone being killed under the theater. And when we were here on Friday, I got the feeling like somebody was pushing me as I was walking down the hallway. Kind of almost like getting a feeling of euphoria where you can't really stand up and walk straight. This here is actually the area where I felt that I was stumbling. And as you can see, like I said, the floor is, I mean, they got this here, but I mean, there's really nothing there. And like I said, I'm not feeling strange or anything now. But like I said, the other night when we were in here, I walked down through here and I felt like I was being pushed backwards. So, and that was in that area there.
There's another board member and I that I think this happens to a lot. And when we're here together and we're talking about the theater or making plans here, oftentimes something will close, something will fall, and at first we just felt like, well, it was a vibration in the street that caused that, but now it's happened to us so many times that we just feel like we're being communicated with.
Tom's wife uses an ovulus to try to communicate. It takes environmental readings and converts them into words.
She had death come up on it, and then my wife's name is Kim. It had Kim leave. So that's another thing that was kind of interesting when all this was going on there too. The spirit's telling her to leave the area.
That's not scary to you?
The death part I don't think was directed towards her. The death part I think was directed toward what happened down here. And as far as her asking her to leave, I still don't understand why they were wanting that to happen, but it was kind of interesting that she actually got that on her ovilus. It is believed that spirits come back to places that they love. So the Fischer Theatre was a big place for a lot of actors, and even people who may have worked here, people who may have came in here and just sat in the auditorium and watched a show, can bring that spirit back to this location, to where this is where they were the happiest. And other spirits sometimes are attached to certain objects. So with the museum out front, there's a lot of attachment there that could have happened just because of those spirits were attached to those objects.
Do you think this is a haunted theater?
Well, I don't call it haunted, but do I think that there's a presence here? Yes, I do. I've experienced that on many occasions. It's not anything threatening. I've always felt it was friendly and coexisted with us, and sometimes we let it know that we're only here to help and keep this building up for them.
I think there are unexplainable things that happen all the time, and what you attribute those to is up to you.